Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may seek China's help to normalize ties with Saudi Arabia. Now, this after China brokered a landmark peace deal between the kingdom and Iran, when Netanyahu is expected to visit China in October. Well, earlier, the Chinese President Xi Jinping also repeated China's offer to mediate the Palestine-Israel conflict. Analysts predict the trip may come as a message to the United States at a time when US efforts to normalize relations between Saudi and Israel are in the works and is yet to show a clear progress so far. Now, however, many West Asian countries have normalized their ties with Israel. The list includes the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. But no clear progress has been seen after rounds of separate talks with Saudi Arabia. Now, some political analysts also claim that the task may not come as easy for China. The most prominent one will be the escalating tensions with Palestinians. Well, Saudi Arabia will at least ask for a halt to the building of settlements in the Palestinian territories. Well, if we go back here, so since 2013, China has offered a few peace proposals. It even called for an organised discussion for a two-state solution, three-way dialogues and coordinated international efforts to resolve the conflict. Well, Netanyahu's visit would be closely watched in the context of the US-China diplomatic tussle. Now, however, Israel has made it clear that it has no intention of replacing China with the US. As after announcing his China trip, the Israeli Prime Minister assured the US is still Israel's irreplaceable ally. Well, apart from diplomatic issues, Netanyahu's visit may also focus on high-tech investment in Israel. Well, such Chinese investments peaked in 2018 before dropping, and increased scrutiny from the US came into the equation. Now, last year, Israel tightened its foreign investment rules on the grounds of national security. This was in response to US pressure to limit Chinese investment in sensitive sectors. Jodie Cohen is joining us now live from Ramallah, joining us. What are the chances of success, do you think, of a Beijing brokered Saudi-Israel normalization deal?
Hi, Katie. Well, I spoke with Israel's ambassador in Delhi a few days ago, who said that Israel would always welcome peace. And we know, as you said, that Prime Minister Netanyahu is set to visit China in October. Now, Israel-Saudi relations are likely to be on the agenda, and also China's offered to mediate between Israel and the Palestinians. So that's also likely to be discussed as well. But Chinese media are reporting that Beijing's role as a mediator could be challenging because of its lack of leverage over the parties. And we know that Israel-Saudi relations are said to exist behind closed doors. They're not out in the open, and they're not as extensive as they could be. The US broker talks are already happening. President Biden had said that a rapprochement may be underway. And in May, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan had said that normalization is a US national security interest. And in July, he visited Saudi Arabia while US normalization envoy Dan Shapiro was in Israel. So I think there are three factors in terms of success. Number one, Chinese support for normalization is likely to be welcomed by Israel and Saudi Arabia. Number two, it could equally be seen as being designed to put pressure on the US to bring more to the negotiation table. And C, I think it's also really important to remember that normalization is still seen as a long shot. There are many factors at play, and lining up all the national interests won't be easy.
And is this more about sending a message maybe to the United States and about Beijing realistically brokering this deal, do you think?
So this report follows the Chinese brokered Iran-Saudi rapprochement. And China, we know, would like to be stronger in West Asia. We also know that the US would like greater distance between Saudi Arabia and China, and also Iran. So this could be a single signal to the US. We know that President Biden has been trying to broker Saudi-Israel normalization. President Biden is also thought to want a foreign policy win before the US presidential election. And this news could put pressure on the US to speed up normalization potentially. From the Saudi perspective, as well as support for the Palestinians, they would like US support for a Saudi civilian nuclear energy program, and also a US support for a NATO-like security alliance and also to buy the third anti-ballistic missile defense system from the US. And when Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that normalization with Saudi Arabia is one of his top priorities, but Israel does see the United States as its closest ally, and it's unlikely to want to upset this relationship. It's likely that Israel is still hoping for a US brokered deal.
Okay, Jodie Cohen, thank you so very much indeed. Our correspondent there joining us live from Ra'anna here on WION World as well.